What's up, Golf Psychos? Welcome back to the Golf Psycho Podcast. My name is Carlos Benavides, mental game coach out of Austin, Texas. The podcast where if you're a psycho about golf or golf drives you psycho, you're in the right place. I'm here joined by a couple of some fabulous human beings, Austin Dooley, Hudson Miller. How's it going, guys?
Good.
How y'all doing?
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely, man. So I'm going to give you guys a chance to introduce yourselves and tell the folks what we're doing, what you all doing here.
Yeah. I'll start. My name's Hudson Miller. I was a golfer from, age 8 till about 17. And I ended up deciding to step away from the game and start pursuing more of the marketing stuff in sports and stuff like that with videography and cinematography and stuff like that. I'm slowly coming back to the game, but yeah, I'm moving more towards, I guess, the film world and stuff like that. So
Absolutely love it, guys. Where are you in school right now, man?
I'm at Ole Miss.
Nice.
Yep.
First year?
First year.
Love it, man.
It's wild. It's pretty fun. The first semester was like so shaky. Everybody was just like trying to figure out what in the world was going on. And then like you move over until the second semester and I feel like everything just started to slow down. Kind of started to focus more on what I'm trying to do. And as far as with film and stuff like that, with my friends, hanging out and just building social stuff. Yeah, it's been a really cool deal.
I love it, man. Austin?
Well, I'm Austin Dooley. I've been playing golf since I was 5 years old and still playing consistently to this day. How long have we known each other now? What has it been, 3 years?
3 years or so. So just to kind of get you guys a little bit caught up, I've worked with Austin and Hudson when they were still in high school, helping out their mental game. And we put in the work, we put in the grind. So this episode is all about hearing their stories, their experiences while working with me, their experiences in golf, where it's taken them, and basically get their take on what they feel the mental game is, what it's done to their game, where it's taken their lives, and all that good stuff as far as all the work that we put in. So I'm very, very excited to get their input. This is actually you're catching us in a moment where we haven't seen each other or spoken in a little bit of time. You just heard Hudson say that he's been at Ole Miss for the last year. I met you, Hudson, when you were a junior in high school?
Junior in high school.
Austin, you were a sophomore.
Yeah.
And Austin just graduated. So I'm really, really excited. Lori's here with us. She's behind the camera today. And we've worked with these guys, absolutely beautiful human beings and phenomenal, phenomenal golfers. I wish I had their skills in high school. Basically, the way they play now is the way I wish I played in high school. It's amazing. So I'm very, very excited to hear their stories. But I guess just to jump right in, guys, given that this is a mental game podcast, it's all about golf. It's all about the person. It's all about, the influences and the impacts that golf has had in your lives. But I'm eager to get your stories from your perspective, jumping into getting some mental game coaching and what you can tell the folks about your experiences.
Yeah. I want to hear Dooley speak.
Let's go for it.
Oh, man. You and me have been playing golf for the longest time because we met right up the road at Grey Rock. And what were we, 11 years old?
Oh, my God. Yeah. That was... Was that a US Kids or STPGA?
I think it was a small little Linksters tournament, 9-hole tournament at Grey Rock.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. For context, I mean, you had played on greens like that and stuff like that. Like the greens were like super fast in my opinion, because in nobody else's opinion ever will these greens be fast. But I grew up on these golf courses that were just like just these slowest greens, just awful, municipal golf courses, and got onto that Grey Rock. I was like, oh my God, this has got to be like what the US Open's like.
And that's convenient you say that, because the golf course that I grew up on was the final stage before the US Open, literally 20 minutes from Jack's place. And they had those greens rolling at 12, 13, and the rough was 5 inches thick. So I think at that point, what you knew golf was a lot different than how I knew golf, because being from Ohio and playing on courses like that, it's a different mentality.
Yeah, I've never played in a while. I know I haven't been up there.
Interesting golf to say the least.
Yeah.
But man, I'll tell you what, being a junior golfer, it takes a mental toll on you. And I think whenever you and me started working, we always our score we thought it would reflect on us.
Yeah.
And that's I think that's the worst thing as a junior golfer you can do. And it drives you crazy.
I think the biggest thing is it came in such big waves. Like we would have these stretches of rounds, both of us would, where we would go 6 holes, we're dominant, going. And then one little thing happens and maybe it's a swing thing that we don't feel comfortable, or maybe it's we just had simply had a bad shot, and the way that could change the entire course of the round was astronomical. It was horrible. You could see it in my scores. I would shoot 78, and then the next day I would go and shoot 90. And those don't really go together. So, I just think that the mental part of it, I never even thought, I had thought about mental game and stuff like that. Try to stay confident, stay confident, stay confident. But I was so worried about the next shot in the future and just kind of pressing myself into the future that I was just, I was never going to be able to be consistent for 18 holes, let alone 2 rounds, 3 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I think I caught you guys at a very interesting time in your golf careers and just who you are as people. And I think that I've worked with a lot of students, and you two guys were very, very interesting because you took to everything that we taught. And it was interesting to see you in your highs, and it was interesting to see you in your lows. And as a coach, you can feel very powerless when I'm watching you guys go through a tough round, and I can see the look in your eyes, and I can see that you're struggling, and I can see all the pressure. And I know that back then, I would talk to you guys, and I would tell you, I don't want you to have any expectations as far as pleasing me. I remember Dooley saying, I'm going to do you proud. I'm going to do you proud. And I remember Hudson saying things that were similar, and, acknowledging that, hey, we don't need to put any added pressure, especially any ideas that, that we need to make anyone else happy except you guys. Can you guys walk us through anything that stood out to you guys during the entire coaching experience, things that were unexpected or things that you already knew, or anything just in general that really stuck out with you until this day? If you were going to work with a golfer with their mental game, what are some of the things that you would pass on to them?
I would say I think the thing that had the biggest impact, I don't know if it was I think I was surprised on how much it really worked, was the 4-8 breathing exercise that we would do. In for 4, out for 8, right? Is that correct?
Yep.
It's been a minute. Let me be real. It has been a minute since we've done this coaching, but the 4-8 breaths, getting up to the ball, taking a deep breath, and in for 4, and then exhaling for 8, and just having nothing but just good thoughts of kind of almost manifesting where this golf ball is going to go, and I think that just caused me to be a lot more confident, a lot more precise in every shot. Doesn't matter what the shot was before. I've completely forgotten about the shot before, but I'm also not worried about what the shot's going to be next. With that 4-8, I'm centered. I'm where I'm supposed to be. I'm on this shot. Let's make it happen. That was my biggest thing.
I love it. Julie?
Loved it.
So I have a funny story from back in February. So I think we talked about being conscious, but also too, I think we at one point touched on being super out of touch with everything that's going on around you and being so zoned in on the golf.
Mm-hmm.
Because back in February, I played in my 3rd PGA Tour pre-qualifier. The first 2 I played in my junior year, 2 of the worst scores I've ever put up. So coming into this one, I'm not expecting much. Because I'm I'm out here with guys that are trying to go play pro golf. There's no way I grace, even this cut line. So I played the first 9 holes. I'm 2 under after 9 holes. I checked my scorecard on the 10th box.
Oh.
And I am losing my mind because I had just now realized that I had birdied the last 3 holes before I step on that 10th tee box.
Oh, yeah.
I am in complete and utter disbelief. But if there's one thing those 9 holes taught me from that day is being very out of touch with everything that's going on around you and just kind of creating your own bubble.
Yeah.
And not stepping out of it and being, I wouldn't say even locked in, because I think when you say that about playing golf, you get super serious. And if one thing goes bad,
yeah,
that's where you start losing your mind. I think you touched on that earlier. One bad shot, and all of a sudden you're thinking, oh no, this round's over. Like, I mean, it's crazy what mentally the stuff you can do that can change your golf game for the better or the worse.
Yeah.
Right?
No, yeah, for sure. I think it's like a balance. I think that there. I mean, I could be wrong in this, and you can correct me on this. I think that the big thing was when I was playing really well, there was a balance of like, I'm not so locked in that I'm just gonna like push my. I'm pushing myself off the bridge. You know, like that. I'm gonna push myself too far as being like how zoned in I am. But at the same time, like I couldn't. I needed to keep my phone in my bag, you know. I think that being aware of your environment, of like just I get, and also gratitude. That's a big thing. Like like having a lot of gratitude in your around and being grateful for the moment. That's what I mean by locked in. Like as far as I guess just being locked in on the moment of wow, it's beautiful out here.
Yeah.
You know, this is I'm so grateful that I get to play this golf course today. You know, I'm grateful for this green. Like, this is really cool. Like, this is actually a really cool experience. Let's go have some fun, you know? And then at that point, you're just like not thinking at all about the other deals of like, you know, if I play bad, who cares what happens? But at the same time, you care enough because you don't want to waste the moment, I guess. I don't know. I might be leading into something there.
No, I think that what you guys describe is just like this Goldilocks zone.
Yeah.
Where it's not too far left, not too far right, not too far up, not too far down. I'm not overly obsessed, but I still care, you know, and it's finding this middle ground within yourself that allows good play to happen. And I think that you guys, you know, mentioning right off the bat, you know, the idea of, you know, one bad shot kind of throwing you off, you know, just to kind of touch on that, you know, and we've talked about this in the past, and it's interesting to kind of go in there and make sure that we don't have any belief systems that are telling us that one bad shot means that the round is done. And I think that a lot of golfers, you know, we've discussed and talked about the things that we believe and the way they manifest outward through us. And I would say 99% of golfers have this idea that a day that they shoot a good score means that no bad shots happened. And I can't emphasize how false that is. I've seen so many players that go out and shoot 65, they even shoot, you know, lower than that, and had a bad shot on the round, but were able to recover and still do their thing. So there's this idea that there needs to be perfection in order to have a good day. And if we as golfers have a bad shot and that alone derails us, I think we need to question our belief systems, and we need to question whether or not we believe that there is no room for bad shots in good rounds.
Yeah.
Do any of y'all remember the phone call about me after my first round of Breckenridge shooting 76 with 10 birdies? 2 triples, 2 quads, and a bogey.
I remember.
That's what we're talking about when we say emotional waves. Like,
that's not a wave. That's like the most terrifying roller coaster you could ever imagine. That's how that round was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, yeah. And I think it's interesting to kind of, I remember you talking about that round, and I think we might have had a conversation that went something along the lines of, you know, we're going to, until we phase out some of those beliefs, we're going to have those extreme up and downs, right? Because I remember being that kid and kind of going, you know, it's either good or bad and nothing in between. And as my game started to change, I started to have these rounds just like Dooley, but except you were having them as a kid and I'm having them as an adult, right? And it's really, really interesting to see them these your ability to go so far up and so far down all in the same round. Like it really just goes to show you how your potential comes out, and then your mind, or the ego or your nervous system takes over, and you're able to see yourself at your worst all in the same 18 holes.
I think it's I don't know the stat. It might be like top 20 players on tour, maybe top 40 players on tour average like 6 birdies around.
Mhm.
Am I right?
Something like that.
It's something like that. I would say that you're close there as far as
Mhm.
birdies. I'm serious. Like I think you're very close as far as how many birdies you have on tour, or on tour, but like in your round. Now that consistency deal, I just think that's I think that's a much easier fix than someone who is a scratch golfer and averages 2 birdies around, 1 birdie around.
Completely agree.
And so I think that you're in a good position, especially you're not even in college yet. Like you still have, you have 4 years of school. Doesn't matter what level of you're playing. It doesn't matter that if you're going to Altoona or you're going to Arizona State.
I don't think I mentioned that earlier, but I am playing Division III golf this fall.
Let's go.
I think I forgot to include that earlier.
Yeah, but dude, it doesn't matter. Like the 4 years of growth that can happen. I mean, think about where we were as freshmen in high school. Like, I mean, I was shooting 90s, but I know that you were probably a little bit lower than that. In fact, a lot more lower than that. But I mean, the exponential growth from freshman year till senior year of high school. Now you have another 4 years of that, and I feel like you're probably a lot smarter and a lot more mentally capable coming into those 4 years. So there's so much that can come from this, and so many good things that can come from this. That's why I'm so excited. Like I'm so excited to watch your scores, your game, and all that sort of stuff. Just as your friend, and hopefully maybe a caddy one day.
We need to make that happen. I don't know when, but it's going to.
I would love to make it happen. But like I mean, me personally, I played the game in high school. Played a few AJGAs, played a few high school events. And I loved it. I loved it. But I loved it too much. And I got like overly obsessed with the game that like I was like, okay, if I don't play golf at the PGA Tour level or in college or anything like that, my life is a failure. Like I literally like that's such an extreme that I took the game to. I was like, and that was really how I was. I would have conversations with my mom, and I would be like, look, like I don't know. I don't think that I could play any other game besides this. This is all that I am. This is who I am. I'm a golfer. I don't care if I have to go play in the Latin Tour and make $16,000 a year. I'm gonna do this. I want to struggle. I want to do it because I want to be great. And I took it to a unhealthy state, and so that's why I stepped away from the game. I wasn't going to continue to do that. That's the part of it where I said, like, I agree, and we're talking about earlier, the over obsession. Like you can be overly obsessed. In fact, a lot of people praise that as far as the things you see in podcasts, movies, and all that sort of stuff. Like only people who are overly obsessed can make it. Yeah, but stay mentally healthy. Like I think that there's a certain point where you just should. I don't know necessarily to take several days off, but like maybe take a break, take a rest. I mean, not the extensive period that I have. I quit. That's different. But like, I think that if I would have taken a gasp of air, while I was like, just like, and said, "Hey, look, I'm gonna take today off. I'm gonna go hang out with some of my buddies, and then tomorrow I'm gonna hit it again." If I would have just done that instead of beating balls on the range, I think that I would have probably still been in this game, and I would have gone and played somewhere. So.
Gotcha. And that was actually my next question is, what do you say to the person that says, no, you need to be obsessed. You need to be out there grinding. You need to be, and I think you hit the nail on the head, right? That there has to be a balance. I think that we can put in the work, we can put in the hours, we can put in the time, but at the end of the day, if there's a part of you that, mentally, physically, spiritually, that you feel like you're not taking care of, do you feel, Hudson, that for the most part is what led to you getting maybe tired of the game or walking away ultimately?
That man just said, "Patience, young Padawan." Anyways, that was no, but like, yeah, I totally get that. I think, just like, I think it's so good to be obsessed, especially starting out in any sort of like deal. But like you said, just like channel it back. Like take breaks and stuff like that. I don't know. I think I've definitely seen both of us like get really obsessed and stuff like that. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm a little lost on my words on what I'm trying to say, but I guess just same thing I said earlier. I think channeling it. Uh, yeah, sorry, I got a little lost.
No,
My
you're
bad.
good, bud. What do you think, Austin?
I mean, let's be real here. Who wants to beat balls on the range for 5+ hours?
No, I totally get it. I would do it though. I was obsessed with swing correction. Like I was the type of guy I would take a video of my swing, play with it for about 30 minutes, and then go hit another shot and it suck, and then go back and video it again and figure out what's wrong. And it was so much trial and error that I loved trial and error.
Hmm.
Which ended up like kind of resulting in the things that I do in my life like now. Every process that I go, I do trial and error. I think it's good in a lot of things. It's just not good with golf. I think trial and error, I think that it can't be short-term trial and error. It needs to be longer term. So like try something for a day, analyze it after, and then the next day go try again and try something different.
Hmm.
Instead of one swing, video it, analyze it. What am I doing wrong? Oh my God, what am I doing wrong? Go to the next one. Now you're even tense and now you're trying to swing and you're trying to feel things up here. It just doesn't work. Like I like the idea of now, like I don't even go to the range anymore. I really don't. I hit maybe 10 balls on the range, go putt, and I go and play. I might shoot 72 or I might shoot 78, but better than shooting either 75 or going and shooting 90. So
Hmm.
That's
I
what
don't
we
know.
did at Lano the other day.
Yeah.
It clearly worked.
Yeah, but Lano's short.
Yeah.
Lano was so short.
No, but still, though, it's
no,
that
it-
analogy
it's
of like,
yeah.
bringing the fun back into the game. Because I
Mhm.
think when you take the fun out of it, I think it drives you insane. And I think what you were just talking about, like, that was ultimately the reason why or where you had to step away. Because I think,
Yeah.
some of the things you were doing, it was driving you crazy.
Hmm. Yeah.
I'll give a little quick plug. Shout out to Lano Golf Course and San Seba Golf Course. If you are living ATX, like in the ATX area, go to San Seba, go to Lano. It's probably I don't know how much money you spend in gas, but it's not a lot. And then you pay a $25, maybe $30 total for 18 holes of golf with a cart. Like you can save so much money just by going out to those little municipal courses. And I'll tell you what, the greens are not bad. Like we played on bent grass greens over at Lano the other day
Nice.
for $30. So sorry, I just wanted to like
Had to plug it in. Yeah.
shout out to the Hill Country Golf Courses for like making it cheap on us.
I've never seen greens low small in my life.
Oh my God, they're so small. They're literally the size of this room, but they're bent grass greens. Like, come on, they had to
Nice.
save some money.
Hard to find in this part of the state. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, yeah.
Yeah. Going back to what you guys were saying earlier, one of the things that seems to keep coming up, and I hope that it's even something that we can take away. And it's one of the big focuses that I wanted to chat on today, as far as a mental game tip that we should all take moving forward. And, I grew up with no lessons, right? Completely self-taught, making so many mistakes and essentially building a swing off of just learning in Golf Digest as a kid. We didn't have the resources to have swing coaches and all that stuff very much. I think, but by the time I reached adulthood, I had maybe 34 lessons in my entire life. And watching you guys swings and looking at them and going, oh my God, you guys just have beautiful, beautiful swings already in high school. And I think it was really, really interesting to see this thing with golfers, especially golfers with phenomenal swings, nitpick their swings so much and never, ever really seem to see these golfers with great swings ever go out there and just let their swings go. And I think that it comes from a perspective of being inside your box and, judging your swing, like Hudson was saying, swing, look at it, and going, oh, this, and this fixation on finding mistakes. And I describe it like building a race car and putting in your turbo and putting in this and tuning it and getting your race car to this phenomenal place and then never trusting it on the track. And I think at some point you need to take your swing as, maybe we'll describe it as imperfect, but what is perfect? And knowing that, we're going to work on it through the years, but what good does it do to work on your swing and never go out there and fully trust it, never go out there and be happy with it? I've seen pros, I've seen guys with pro level swings that I would describe like as yalls, and at the same time, never really go out there and go, you know what? Today, I'm not going to be worried about my swing. I've worked on it up until this point, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do everything I can with the swing that I've built. And I see so many golfers in the middle of rounds, obsessed with swing, what's going on. But I find that there's really a rare case that I go out and I have a mind that goes, hey, I don't have a perfect swing, but I'm going to go out there and I'm going to maximize what I can do mentally and believe in this swing fully and totally. What are y'all's thoughts on that?
No, yeah. I had a swing coach. It was the last one that I had. It was
Jay.
No, after Jay.
Oh, really?
The one that you're still.
Oh, Martin?
Martin. Okay, Martin told me something that like resonated me, and I still use this. I should know his name and not feel bad. It's just been a long time since I've had a lesson or anything like that. But the last thing that he ever told me was, okay, Matt Kuchar, back when he was younger. He claims that he was watching Matt Kuchar warm up and he had this big like slice, right? Like literally a 40-yard slice. And you could watch this slice go from 40 yards on the range with a driver to 30 yards, 20 yards, 15. And then he goes to the first tee and he played a 15-yard fade for the rest of the day. Those guys on tour still have swing misses. They just adjust. Okay, if I have a 40-yard slice, try to hit a draw. If you're a good golfer, you know what you need to do to hit a draw, right? And it may be back your right foot up. It might be adjust your shoulders, adjust your hips, and on draw line, maybe it's start your club out way out here and then draw it back in. Whatever it is, whatever's comfortable for you. Go back from 40 yards, that 40-yard slice, guide it back in, hit and try, and whatever feels like a draw swing and it's a 15-yard fade, play it. Okay, you can play a 15-yard fade. You can't play a 40-yard slice. I mean, maybe you can, and you can start it like Bubba Watson. But like that 15-yard fade is something that you can just play with. And that's why I don't spend much time on the range. You might see my first drive of the day on the range. I might be still warming up. My first three might go way right. But I know that if I move my hips a certain way, it'll draw my swing back in. And if I'm ever hitting a hook, then I've just got some alignment issues. Mm-hmm. I know those are my two things, and those two things will probably be my problems for the rest of my life, but I know how to fix them. They're easy, right? They're not, hey, I got to fix my grip. I got to fix all this sort of stuff. I got to put my left arm over here. I don't have to do all that. I know it's just two little fixes that I stick to as a recreational golfer. That's who I'm speaking to in this sort of sense. I guess it's recreational if you're doing stuff like that, but just find what gets it back in the fairway and play it, and then go play the next shot.
And what do you guys think mentally needs to happen, or what's worked for y'all as far as, like Hud says, hey, I know my swing. I know what it does. I know how to make the little corrections. I know what my typical errors are. What do you think needs to kind of take over in order to fully let your swing go so that you can just maximize what you do well?
I think the first thing you should stop doing is watching PJ Tour highlights because you're not going to hit every ball to
No,
5 feet.
so true. Yeah, even PJ Tour players. Okay, you see like 20-foot putt highlights. You know, it's like, oh my god, he just made a 20-footer. He just made a 30-footer, 40-footer. Yeah, that might happen like twice during the entire day out of all the golfers. Maybe 5 or 6 times. You know, but like you put the odds of that of you making that 40-foot putt. Why are you practicing 40-foot putts out there? You know, if you realistically, like, I mean, I get it for speed, right, and I get it for lag. But like you shouldn't be trying to make a 40-footer and be pissed off because you didn't make it.
Mhm.
You know? Instead, practice the stuff that like matters, you know, like the short putts. Okay. I think short putts matter. I think wedge game really matters. I think being able to come
Huge.
into any sort of situation and be able to put it close. Yeah, practice that. But don't go and practice things that are gonna like a driver. I think it I think your driver's great. It positions you, but don't if you're hitting it in the fairway and you're hitting it like somewhat in the fairway. And if it's going out in the way out in the woods, figure out a small fix, you know. But there's no point in if you're trying to hit if you're hitting it in the fairway right now, trying to do things just to get it further, right? That will come with just training and swinging that way. You're going to get more comfortable and you're going to hit it farther as you keep going. Um, but yeah, I think that there's just like there's things that you can mentally like I guess prepare yourself on in your practice and stuff like that that kind of help. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I think what you're describing is that, when you change and I think update some of your thinking or some of your mental game, it changes the way you practice.
Yeah.
It changes the way you approach practice. And I think that, a lot of the times, when I tell people, when we come in and intake you and I want to work with you, a lot of the reason that we need to spend time together is because I need to hear you speak. And the reason I need to hear you speak is because eventually you're going to tell me some of the things that you believe. You're going to tell me some of your thought processes. And as we've often described, I describe the brain, especially when it comes to golf, off golf, in life, whatnot. I like to think of the brain obviously as a computer, right? That's not nothing foreign. But, if we think of the brain as a computer and we think of the things that we believe as computer programs, everything that you believe is a computer program that you have to fulfill. And, a lot of the times the things that we believe around golf affect the way we practice, right? So I'm glad that you're touching on that, because a lot of the things that we believe impact the way we practice, right? So classic example, I hear someone say, oh, my driver game is trash or my putting is trash. And by the time I kind of poke around into those belief systems, we figure out that, well, you never practice those things or you're practicing it completely wrong in a way that doesn't serve you.
Totally. Yeah.
All I'm going to say is whenever you were still playing and when we had just started working together, both of y'all, I think, were 20, 30 yards past me off the box. I will sit here and tell you right now, after a while, I was getting tired of watching that for sure.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
100%. Because for the longest time, I was always a short hitter. And, relying on mid to long irons to get me into par fours.
Dude, you were 40 yards ahead of me the other day on almost every single drive.
That was so hard for me to like comprehend why you were hitting it. You would hit it like 250 and you like, I mean, you look at Dooley. Like, I mean, the dude is like got arms the size of my head. I don't understand. I've never understood why you hit it. Like you could only like, I don't know. And you would swing fast too. Like, I feel like you were swinging pretty fast when you were back then, like 2 years ago. Now you just channel it and you can hit it in the center of the club face and have good attacking.
Occasionally.
But like now you're hitting it like 315, 320, maybe 340, 350.
And it's going to keep going up.
Oh, it's going to keep going up.
Yeah, I remember telling you guys, I thought I was long in high school because I could get my Titleist 975D out to 275, like, oh my gosh, I'm just shy of 300 yards. I'm a beast. And then, getting into my 20s, like HUD, I left the game for a while. I actually left the game for about a decade. And then came back in my 30s and I was like, technology had changed, but it was like a 45-yard difference. I was like, no, you wait, guys, like you're in high school, just wait. And I was even telling Austin the other day, no, you're not done. Trust me. Yeah. The size is there, like Hudson says, but the fast twitch fibers in your body are going to continue to develop and your ability to just snap that thing is going to change. I will confidently maintain that you guys will not see your biggest drives until well in your 30s.
That's hard for me to comprehend. Like, because I, for 2 years, essentially sat in a damn chair, like, and then came back and started hitting the ball 20 yards further. Like, how does that happen? Like,
It's just man stuff, man. Like your
that's
body is still growing. I mean, from 21 to 25, I grew another inch. And most people will say, you're done growing by 21. Wrong, wrong. My strength continued to go up. It's unreal. So I completely predict you guys are going to continue to hit the ball further and further and further. But yeah, just the other day, I mean, Dooley isn't even in his 20s yet. And, we're already, well, how old are you?
19.
19. Yeah, exactly. So you're not even 20 years old yet. So I can't wait to catch you at 25. I can't wait to catch you at 30.
What I will say is, growing up around kids, I hit it a mile because that's how we spent junior golf. And we know kids that hit it further than us. And
Elijah Gallivan. Remember?
Yeah,
Oh
we'll
my
plug a few kids
God.
in there. Him, Ethan Dufresne, Jack Waters. There's so many kids out there now, this day and age, that hit it a mile. So
Well, Jack was a really cool deal because he started. I remember when he came up to me like in 8th grade and was like, "Hey, do you have like any recommendations on wedges?" I was like, "What?" I think he was like messing with me because he knew I play golf. And I was like, "Yeah, Callaway, man," or I said something like that. And that kid went in 8th grade. I went and played with him over at Falcon Head. The next year, I think I don't know if he tried out. I think he was just, he did PE waiver for the next year. Next year, I didn't like talk to him at all. Didn't even know. I knew he was still playing golf, but like, I didn't know how much. Then I see that he's on the top of a leaderboard in an AJ preview. I'm like, what's going on here? The next day or the next year, he's on varsity. Then he's top 5, and then now he's playing at UCSB. Like he started in 8th grade. Like that's insane. That's insane to me. But
Mhm.
I don't know. I think that kid does hit it a mile. He hits it such a long ways. Like I could never hit it that far. He's built like you, but can get. I think he can get tall. I remember him having a tall swing, and so it's like almost like a Brooks Koepka like thing that I think of when I see him. But oh my God, it's stupid.
Hudson, the power you produce is ridiculous too, bro.
That's just aerodynamics. I'm thin. Like I'm literally 145 pounds. But I have a long wingspan. I can get up and I'm tall. And so I'm lucky on that. I utilize it. It's like Will Zalatoris in the way that he's super thin and long. But yeah, it's
lots of fast twitching. I mean, it's just unreal. Do you guys know your swing speeds right now?
I would guess like 116.
I couldn't tell you what mine is.
Yours is definitely faster than mine. You're probably swinging 1.7. No, not that fast.
I think you're getting up to 120, Dooley. I think
Seriously?
you're in the 115 to 120 mark.
God almighty.
Somewhere in there. I
think I'm 115. I think I'm probably 115.
So I went out to go play with him the other day, and I was swinging everything 80%. 80%. I wasn't swinging out of my shoes. Dooley was letting the ball have it. And I kid you not, Hudson, he's 40, 50 yards in front of me.
That's
and
stupid.
I'd have to be swinging full 100% to keep up with him. I mean, it was, very, very tempting to just like, okay, I'm just going to start swinging as hard as I can to keep up with Austin. But it was really, really impressive to see the difference in distance that occurred in the last year.
What percent do you swing at? Like, what do you feel like you swing
I'm
at?
probably swinging at 90 to 100.
90 to 100.
Yeah, he's letting it have it. You could see him really, really laying in there.
That's wild. Like, see, like I get tired after 14. Like, if I do it's 14 drives. It's not even 18. 14 swings at 100%, I'm just tired. Like, I can't even do it. I can do 80. I can do 80%, 80. I like to keep it at 80, 90, like if it's a short par 4 and I can get there, it's 330. Like I'll swing for it and be like 15 yards, 20 yards short. But I like to I like when I swing, even when I swing at like 90%, I just feel like it doesn't go as far for me. I don't know. But I guess the reason it goes so far is because you're just like, it's 2 different types of swings. I mean, you've got actual muscle. I'm like, look how thin I am. Like it's hilarious. But I don't think of it like as a disadvantage in my like on my side at all. But like it's just two different swings, And so
So you're talking, both of you right now, you're talking to a golfer that just got into golf. Maybe they've been in it for a few months, maybe the first year or two. What are you telling them?
I want to see what you say.
The first thing I tell you to start with your short game. Your short game saves you.
Yeah.
And if you really want to teach yourself speed, you're going to have to swing as hard as you can for the longest time and not care where the ball goes. Because I think what the hardest thing is, you can teach someone how to hit the ball straight, but you can't teach someone to hit it far.
Yeah.
You have to do that on your own, whether that's, whacking balls and it's going that way or it's going that way, or whether that's getting in the gym and doing what you got to do. There's so many things that you got to do in between there. I mean, also too, if it's just someone that just started, I mean, obviously it's going to take a long time.
Yeah.
But I think the most important thing, 100%, is your wedges and your putter. Because if you're missing greens and if you have the ability to get up and down, that's how you save rounds, right?
No, totally.
Mm.
I think that, you give it kind of depends on how old you are. If you're like starting your kid, I wouldn't let them swing outside of 100 yards. Like, well, not even that. Because kids can't hit it near as far. I think like keep it within like 30 yards, for a while. Just make it a game. Like make it a 30-yard shots, 20-yard shots, little chip shots, and then they go up and they putt, But if you're like an older person and you're starting out and you're wanting to play some golf, and you just got your set, it might be nice, might be just average, maybe you got it dicks, doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. I think the big thing is just like go play, literally play, like not until you run out of balls, but like just play as many holes as you can, and just trying to keep it in the fairway. I think YouTube is such a great tool. Rick Shields, all of those guys. I love like watching the stuff that they produce and stuff like that for swing tips. But I don't know. I say that like don't worry too much about the range. Just get out there and play. You're gonna lose golf balls. You're gonna get pissed off. But just like I also wouldn't do it by yourself. That would suck. Like starting out and being by yourself, like playing, that sounds terrible. Find a buddy, that hasn't played golf before and go learn together. Like that's the point of golf. It's like it's a game, and go have fun with it.
Would you guys say it's important to get a lesson right off the bat to avoid bad habits and having to change them later?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would say so. I think.
Or even if you got a buddy that's been playing for a long time, if you know someone that's really good, start playing with them.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure they will be willing to help out. And the best part of it too, it's free. People don't charge people that are just starting out lessons because you're not a PGA pro. You might be good, but don't charge them.
I think, yeah, I would agree. Like find your buddy, find someone who's good at golf, can be anyone who's less than a 10 handicap knows the game pretty well. Probably less than that too. I think like 15, like anyone who's like can break 90 essentially. Like I think they can have some sort of understanding that will get you at least your feet off the ground. I think the swing coaches do a good thing. But like, don't break your bank if you feel like that you're just not comprehending it, then just go play, go have fun with it.
What makes a really great swing coach?
One thing at a time. Like if a coach is able to like attack one thing at a time, they're goated. Like that's the best that you can. Like if they're just able to say, "Hey, today we're going to work on your grip," and then we fix our grip. First off, it takes 2 weeks to fully complete a swing change. It's like taking medicine. Okay, like you can't expect I'm going to take this one pill and I'm going to be good. Maybe it might be like if we're talking like prescribed medicine for a period of time.
And would you say for the weekend golfer, it's even longer?
Oh my God, yeah. I think it's like a month.
So we've heard Tiger say
some pro golfers, it takes them 6 months to a year. I think that's just swing changes though. It depends on what it is and what you're trying to do.
That's true. I don't know. I think that from personal experience, that's what I've experienced. But like, if a tourist pro is saying that, yeah, like 6 months. I think that the process, though, like before you can start taking on something else, I think you need at least like a month, maybe minimum 3 weeks, to before you start taking on something else. Of like, okay, we're going to work on a grip. Now that we've got our grip somewhat figured out, let's talk about our swing path. Where are you taking the club back? What's the sweet spot line? Like know the sweet spot line of like where you're taking it back. What are you doing with and then you move on to your wrist. What's the flow looking like? Just things like that. I think, but just I think it's better to take it as slow as possible. Coaches who throw 4 to 5 things for you to take home with you and try and practice. First off, you always forget at least 1 or 2 if you're not taking notes. Then you try and you do 3 things and you realize one thing's working the most. So you just focus on that one thing. But really, like, you're not ready to start working on that quite yet because you have to like work on these other things for that to really work. And so then you mentally screw yourself, you put yourself out of whack. So yeah, I think just one thing at a time, just diagnosing it that way. That's the best coaches I've ever had. That's what they've done.
Thoughts, Austin?
Getting 4 to 5 swing thoughts makes me want to beat my head in.
Yep.
No, yeah.
I couldn't do it. It's never really happened to me much, but sure, there and there, it's happened a few times. And honestly, it's just made me want to quit golf. It really has. There's been some times where I've been in such big funks and you don't want to hear it, but you have to, where you have to work on so much, but actually getting yourself to go and do it.
Yeah. And
stand there for God knows how long. It's terrible.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it, but you have to.
Absolutely. Going back to, talking to a golfer that's just getting into the game, I guess fill in the sentence. If I could go back when I started golf and mentally learned this, it would have saved me so much time and effort. What would it be?
Change your perception on how golf is played. This comes back to watching PGA Tour highlights.
Yeah.
This also involves maybe going for the middle of the green. Maybe you don't go for the pin that is tucked over the water and you're 230 out and you have a 4-iron and the wind is blowing in the complete wrong direction.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you make a 7.
Didn't Jack Nicklaus never aim for a pin? Like he just aimed dead. I thought Jack Nicklaus said that he only aimed dead center of the pin, or dead center of the green for almost every shot that he took. Maybe it was just the Masters that he's talking about this, but I saw the deal on that. Like aim for the center of the green. If you miss right, miss left, most likely you're still on the green. I like that tip, but as far as what you were saying with the mental, like as far as if I could just mentally do something, I would never take a swing change into a tournament or on a round. That is muscle memory only. Build it on the range. I think that range is good when you're trying to build a swing thought. Like we said earlier, don't video your swing trying to make sure that you're doing a correction. I think you video your swing in the one of your first swings after you get warm. Then you do your drill for about an hour. At the very end, video your swing, track the progress. That's all you got to do. It's 2 swing videos instead of 50. But when you go onto a round, don't try and make changes and stuff like that in your round and be like, okay, I've got to feel this. Maybe when you first make the swing change, but even then, like I would just chill out on how much pressure you're putting on those rounds. Don't have such high expectations because you just made a swing change. It's like I still got it cast on from breaking my leg.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm still healing. I'm still trying.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah,
that's a great analogy. I think that it was really interesting watching you guys, and I think that when we first started working together, my main focus with both of you guys was exactly that. I didn't want to give you guys too much. And our main focus was consistently breathing in gratitude. So I'm so glad that you brought it up, Hudson, because it stayed with you. And I think throughout the entire time that I worked with you guys, Lori's and I's main concern was making sure that your nervous systems were less and less of a factor in derailing your rounds and giving you guys strategies to essentially keep your nervous systems calm and collected. That was our main focus 99% of the time. And loading the who and gratitude practices and breathing were the two main strategies and the two main techniques that we gave you guys to work on. And what can you tell me about your experiences adopting these techniques? I know, Hud, you mentioned some of it earlier, but I'd like to take a deeper dive into how that still plays into your golf today and has it spilled into your regular lives.
You go first. I want to hear. You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that it's spilled into my game a little bit, like as actually a lot. It's like the only thing that I really think. I don't think about anything on the golf course really. I go out and hang out with my buddies and play golf. But if I'm doing anything, I think I'm expressing some sort of gratitude with other people, like being in the moment, being with people, just thanking God that I get to have a day like that on the golf course and be with my people that I love.
Is that why you play better golf today?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Like I think that it's just even if I'm playing with somebody, if I'm playing by myself, like I think just expressing gratitude that like I get to take some time off of work, and I get to go and play golf. Like that's fun, like that. This is some time that I get to take off, and it's like mentally soothing rather than mentally like, oh, like I've got to play good, like
The pressure.
Oh yeah. But like as far as the stuff that it's done in my regular life, I think that like I said, I'm an Ole Miss student over at in Oxford, Mississippi. I joined an organization. I started going to a deal called Crew, and I built a lot of environment and stuff like that. And just taking the day and the times that I wake up in the morning, I just thank God for the opportunity that I have to love other people, to see other people, see the people that I love, and just get to do what I love. Get to, I think I said this earlier. I'm a cinematographer. I'm working to one day go into the film world and do stuff like that. In the feature film world, I also work in Ole Miss sports and stuff like that. Those days that I'm on the field on a Saturday for Ole Miss football, like I express so much gratitude for that, because those are really the things that like I'm just grateful for. I'm grateful for. There's some I could sit here and tell you all the things that I'm grateful for, but just taking time out of my day to do that, I think just the stress, the pressure of I've got to get these things done today, rather than saying I have to, I get to, and just do things like that. But yeah, it's changed my life for the better. It's changed my faith in the Lord and my walk with God. Just having love first rather than trying to do all these things in order to feel like I'm like loved or confident and stuff like that. I just simply love and have peace first and stuff like that, and gratitude. So I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely taken a lot of stress off the shoulders for sure.
I love it.
Yeah, especially going into college. It's like the most stressful thing ever. And like freshman year, you don't know what's going on. So it's nice. It's
Love it.
awesome.
Fantastic. So well said. Austin?
Have either of y'all made the mistake, either on the golf course or in life, looking forward to the next thing and not being super in it?
Oh, yeah.
I think that's the same thing on the golf course and in life. I mean, stepping up on hole one and you're already thinking about, that one hole out there.
Yeah.
I sit here and tell you I've made that mistake 1,000 times.
Mhm.
Will I probably do it somewhere in the future? Most likely. Most likely I will. But I think behind the scenes and in personal life, like looking forward to going out and doing something and not doing the things that you do on the regular, you forget what you're doing in that moment. And I think ultimately what I've learned is life passes you by and all of a sudden you forget what just hit you.
Mhm.
It's crazy what it can do. And also too, another thing that you really taught us is words can have a big effect on how you think.
Yeah.
Because what did you say earlier? It's, oh, I got to do this. And it's really should be, oh, I get to do this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Completely different perspective.
And there's also another saying that I learned from someone. It's the win mentality. It's what's important now. And I learned that one like a year ago. And I sat there and I thought about that one. And I'm like, that's really what you said. It's identical to what you said. And it's keeping yourself wherever you are, whether that's, for both of y'all, it's filming or editing. And like when you're doing that, like that's its own adventure in itself. And you're grateful for it because the outcome for it is something that's unimaginable. And I mean, I can't speak for you, but 3 or 4 years ago, I bet you didn't think you were going to be doing this.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I don't really think I had an idea of what I was going to be doing. I thought I was going to be playing college golf, but just didn't happen, you know. And I I thought that it would be the end of the world. It's like, all right, I'm going to get to college, and if I'm not playing college golf, this is it. It's done. Like, like no, life keeps going on. You know, you have new adventures. You meet new people. Meet some really good people. But yeah, I mean, it's like you said, man, gratitude and getting to do this. I really do enjoy uh, all the adventures I do, and now the fact that I'm a golfer secretly is kind of fun. Like I love being a sandbagging golfer. I'm okay with that. Like that's awesome.
It's a great way to make money.
Oh oh my god. Yeah. No, it's no, I think it's fun to go to like Top Golf. You know, when you go to Top Golf and nobody knows you're like a golfer, and you're just like, especially if you like walk up there and you're like, so like, how do I put my grip? And then they come up and like adjust your grip, and then you swing. Like it's kind of
like 270.
oh, it's totally an ego thing, but like I still love it. I don't care. It's hilarious.
It's for the fun of it. It's comedy. I love it.
It's so funny. No, but yeah, man, it's nice to have it more of as a hidden talent. But um, will I come back to like amateur level golf and stuff like that? I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I think that it would be cool to like try and qualify for like do qualifiers for the USAM, but that's something I think is down the line for like when I'm 40 or 35. But yeah, I want to stay focused on film and uh, go follow H2M Cinematics on Instagram. Yeah, I'm gonna shout myself out. It's okay.
Give him a follow, guys.
It's a free plug.
I will shout out as many people as I want. No, but like I love getting to do stuff like that. I get, and the cool thing is I'm not sticking to one thing. I'm keeping it dynamic. I want to do music videos, and then I want to do sports videos, and then I want to do like uh actual short films and stuff like that, and short documentaries. And I think everybody, like people will tell you like, oh, you need to have a specific audience. No, I don't. I can appeal to anyone who I want. So as long as I'm doing what I love to do, I'm happy.
You can't miss, man.
I don't care about how many people want to see what I'm doing. Like that's not what I do it for. I do it for the process. Like it's just the trial and error. And thankfully, I can somewhat make a career out of it, just because people will pay for stuff like that. So, um, very thankful for what God has brought me to, and what I think golf served a purpose in my life, in the sense that it brought me from a sport to social media for the sport, and then the social media took on its own thing. I was like, you know what? I'm really good at making videos. I'm gonna do this full time. And then I went from that to like, hey, I have ideas for what would be a movie and stuff like that, or a short film. I'm gonna try that. I have ideas for a music video. And just like being able to, it's ventured me into so many different opportunities, and I still have golf and behind this. So yeah, it's done wonders for me, and I never, and more than I ever could have imagined it would have.
Do you guys think that because golf can be so grueling and it's one of those sports, I mean, I know you guys learned it, very, very young. I learned it very young. So we don't quite always remember, picking up the club and not knowing how to hit the ball. And then all of a sudden, 5 years later, we're hitting the ball great. But do you think that sort of shapes you for being able to have the tenacity to stick at something and really suck at something when you first start it and have the patience to sit there and put in the time to get good at it?
Yeah.
So is golf maybe not the most athletic sport, but is it the best life coach? 100%. I think there's times where you think you can play at the highest level, and there's times where you probably want to take your 7-iron and probably just snap it over your right knee.
Mm-hmm.
There's times where that happens a lot. But it's such a weird learning curve to get over.
Yeah.
And for me, it took, even though I've been playing for so long, it's the biggest learning curve that I've ever had to get over.
Mm-hmm.
Learning how to be better and the opportunities that it can come from it. I think you see it outside the course. You get more grateful that you're good at something when maybe a lot of people wish they were as good as you. Because I think also to this, I don't know if we talked about perception earlier, just being golf and being in the weight room, but
Yeah.
you don't realize you're in a small percentage of people.
Yeah. You can't attack golf like you attack your life, but you can attack your life how you attack golf. Because the things that you attack with, like if you're going into golf and you're thinking, okay, well, I'll flip that script. If you're going into, like, I think that things that you pull out of golf that you can use in life and stuff like that, like you were talking about tenacity and just like discipline and doing things. I think that because of golf, I became addicted to processes, and the process that I had going into things like film, things like fix my fixations and stuff like that, with um, learning more about philosophy and music and stuff like that. Those are passions that I have, and um, because I was a golfer, and because of the fixation that I had of developing a golf swing, developing my game, developing my mental game, knowing numbers, knowing everything about the game. I had so much just kind of like built up, and so much I guess tolerance for like how much time I'm willing to put into it. What's the word for that? Stamina.
Stamina,
it just
patience, all of it.
yeah, I think that all of that correlated over into my passions and stuff like that. Like, if you know me as a person, I get very fixated on something so fast. Like, as far as with like, I picked up starting like learning more about philosophy, I would say a couple months ago, and I'm not going to start talking about it, because like if I do, I will ramble. But just learning more about like guys like Socrates and Plato and Aristotle, and just like the way that they went about their processes and stuff like that, the way that they think, I got really fixated on it. And then you move over to something with cinematography and film. I know a camera inside and out, and then I understand directors' techniques, photography techniques, and just details that I've just, I guess, came with time and stuff like that. Uh, but it's just things that take a lot of time and a lot of like, I guess, just sitting there and just learning and stuff like that. I built a process through that. I don't know. I'm not wording that correctly, and you kind of understand what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That
yeah. I think it's one of those things that it makes you work for the juice, right? It's not going to give you that instant gratification right off the bat. It's going to make you work. It's not going to be something that in a few weeks, here you go. It's going to be one of those things in a few years, you start to feel the benefits. You start to see, the prize that it gives you for putting in that time. It's not one of those, push a button and it's done, and I think that golf definitely taught me to sit there and be okay with sitting there and sitting, like I know we've talked about the difference between, being obsessed and grinding and all of that stuff. But again, there's a great middle ground. And I think that when it comes to, applying to different occupations and applying that tenacity or that patience and going, hey, I know this isn't going to give me the dopamine that I'm looking for right off the bat. But if I sit here long enough and if I put in the time long enough, it's eventually going to turn into something else. And because of golf, I can sit here and put in that time and not just feel like I'm waiting for that moment, but falling in love with the process, knowing that getting good at something or getting great at something is inevitable because I know how to sit here with it, where maybe 90%, 95% of people can't sit there and just put in the time because it's not giving them the juice right away.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I think we switch it up a little bit.
Go for it.
Let's come back to golf in general. Let's talk about what golf's brought all of us three.
So I had a great question for you. So in our intake, whenever we eval you guys coming in, one of the first things that we ask you guys in our intake evaluation on the mental game side is, what are you grateful for? And I've been so excited to ask you this question because as a 16, I think you were a sophomore, 16 years old. It's really interesting, right? I was coming from a place, we're at different stages in our lives, and I'm coming from a place of, what my gratitude was at that particular point in time was my wife, the fact that I'm healthy and I can breathe, and that I'm here in this moment, acknowledging this is the oldest I've ever been. It's the youngest I'm ever going to be again. My gratitude was.
You told me that one the other day, and I had to think about it.
It was, all our gratitudes are coming from different places. And I loved yours because I knew that it was so real and it was downright adorable. And I knew it was going to change in time. And I remember asking you, all right, Austin, tell me what you're grateful for. And I'll never forget it. And you're like, my wedges. And I just loved it because it was, I loved where you were in that place and time. I loved the way you took in that question, and it was just honest and beautiful, and it was, I couldn't wait for years to pass so that I could ask you that same question and again. And here we are. It was one of the things today that I could not wait to ask you. And Austin, what are you grateful for today?
I think it's everyone I have around me now, from my family to all the people I met. I think it's very poetic that a kid that grew up playing on, kind of these nicer golf courses is now best friends with a kid from hill country and someone from the valley. A kid from Ohio, 20 minutes north of Columbus.
Cover the entire state of Texas.
Yeah, exactly. Being
or America, I guess. You're not from.
Yeah, 20 minutes north of Columbus, Ohio. I know it's weird to be down here now, but no, I mean, I'm grateful for a lot of things. I think the opportunities that, I have now, knowing both of y'all, being able to do something like this and really talk about it.
Yeah.
I think there's one great thing about it, and I get to learn things that I'm not good at.
Yeah.
Y'all are good at things that I'm not, that I get to learn.
But you're also good at things that we're not.
But that's what I'm saying.
That's human.
That's what I'm saying, though. It's part of being good friends. Like, I sit here and say that I'm better at certain things, but I'll confidently say here that I am probably worse at a lot of things than I am better at than y'all at.
Yeah.
And it's an opportunity to learn. This is outside of golf from either, trying to learn something about film or just even life skills.
Yeah. That's good recognition. I love that. And I wish I was like more recognition of like the room, had more recognition of like a room that I walk into. Of like, you know what, these people have a lot more experience in this field than I do. Um, and just like take advantage of that, you know, and like I have to hold like I think people have to do this too, but I have to hold myself. I'm like, you know what? I need to let them be better at what they do, and they can use me how on the ways that I bring things to the table. And I'm not just talking with golf here. I'm talking about just in general. Like but just being able to read a room and say, you know what? These people are really good at what they do. Would love to like know more about that. And just like, but yeah, I really admire that. That's awesome.
And both of y'all are people that I feel like I could not talk to for 6 months and probably text or call y'all. And it's like we talked yesterday.
HUD, I'd like to hear. We just heard from Austin and how gratitude has shifted through the years for him, and I think we've talked about how it plays a role. I think what I hear you saying when you talk about gratitude is that it essentially keeps the big picture in play, right? I think it's really easy to lose the big picture, and at least for me, I think what it's done is that it allows me to see what's actually going on rather than sometimes I think what my mind or what my ego is saying. So, even in this moment right now, it allows me to kind of see the bigger picture of what can be fixed and what's going on.
Yeah.
Walk me through your mental processes as far as how that's changed. I think that you're a very tuned into it. Let us have it.
Yeah. Are we talking overall still or golf? So,
Let's say in golf, right?
Okay.
How I know we've talked about 4-8 and we've talked about all that good stuff, but what do you think? You're telling me that you're playing the best golf of your life, and I can almost guarantee it has something to do with perspective, which means it has something to do with gratitude.
Yeah.
Which is something we talk about here a lot at Golf Psycho.
Yeah. No, yeah. It's I think yeah, like I said earlier, I just like I really am able to it doesn't matter the situation that when I walk into golf, like if I just got into an like let's say I got into an argument with a friend and then I had to go play golf. Used to I would just be really like kind of like I would already be set up mentally like in the wrong direction. I think now I use golf as like, okay, well, everything's going wrong, you know, I can get away from that. Let's go play some golf for a little bit, you know, and let's refresh. And it's not as mentally dragging as it used to be and like double down on the mental distress that I have from what's going on in a situation. But then you switch it. Like if I'm having a really good day and I go and play golf, you know, it just makes the day even better. You know, it's I think that uh, having the mindset of like knowing that golf is going to make my day better. Um, just it's simple. I know it's not a deep. It's not that's not a super deep dive. It's simple. Of like golf is going to make my day better today. Um, and if I go and play, I'm going to I'm gonna have a better day. I'm gonna walk home. I'm gonna come home. And I'm gonna be in a much better mood. I'm gonna be relaxed and just looking forward to that. Um, like sort of just knowing, not looking forward to it, but knowing that that's the result that's gonna come from after a day of golf. I think that that's just a nice thing to be like. I guess I guess almost looking forward to,
Or just enjoy in general.
and just enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it with that mindset of coming in before, it sets a um precedent. It's just gonna be a good day on the golf course. You know, I don't know. I think
Mhm.
that preparing yourself on a golf course is just like not preparing yourself, but like preparing your thoughts of just positivity, of what golf can bring to you, not um I don't I think it's just it's I think that I just keep referring to it as a medicine, just like this is gonna make me feel this is gonna be today's gonna be a good day. You know, like this is gonna be great.
Yeah. I think you can kind of feel happy with yourself when you leave with that kind of perspective. I think that the reason that for me, the gratitude was one of the biggest perspective change, or one of the biggest things that we adopted, or that, that instilled into a mental game upgrade in general, was the realization that I had leaving the golf course, and I know that you guys can relate to this, and I know that a lot of golfers can relate to this, was leaving the golf course knowing that I had completely wasted my time while I was out there losing my shit.
Yeah.
And I think that, going back to what I told Dooley, and again, this will come up many, many, many times, it's the acknowledgement of where I am at this moment in my life, right? The acknowledgement that I know that one day I'm not going to be here. Acknowledging that the people around me, and this is going to go deep, and we're going to go deep maybe into the philosophical side, but acknowledging that one day the people I love are not going to be here anymore. 100 years from now, nobody that I love is going to be here. I am not going to be here anymore. There's going to be a day where I won't be able to swing that golf club anymore. There's going to be a day I won't be able to walk on this golf course anymore. And I think that zooming out and using gratitude to see what this moment really is. And I had this talk with Austin the other day when we were on the course, right? And it goes back to that idea, right? That every single moment in the right now is the youngest I'll ever be, and I'm the oldest I've ever been. Meaning, in this moment, I've never been this age, right? I've never been this age. Excuse me. Today is the oldest I've ever been in my entire life. And I will never be younger. Never. I cannot go back. That's it. Here, right now. And then suddenly, the right now becomes so much more precious. It becomes so much more beautiful. And you start to realize the beauty that is the right now in your life, understanding that our lives are finite, right? We're going to have our end. And is this the way you want to spend it? Is this who you want to be? And that is where loading the who came from. That is why I installed it into you guys every single time, every shot, again and again. Who am I being? Who am I being? Who am I being? To ask ourselves that question over and over, because it is a very relevant question. It is a beautiful question to ask, because if we're not being who we're supposed to be, if we're not being who we're meant to be, if we're not being, dare I say, who God wants us to be, this beautiful experience that we've been gifted, and if I'm missing the point in any sort of way, I love that I've got these programs that go in there and make me question what I'm doing. And that's where gratitude for me overrides all of it. And it allows me to cut through the bullshit, my own bullshit. And it allows me to go, what are you doing losing your mind over this? You love this. You love your bad shots. You love your good shots, because at the end of the day, an opportunity to swing this thing is becoming more and more precious and more beautiful by the day, because we're all headed towards the same freaking train station, right? We're all headed towards that end, right? So I think that's where, for me, the gratitude sort of ties into everything and is a absolute staple and a must in my life, where I've trained it on the golf course more recently, and I can take it into life as you guys are navigating all this newness, right? You're navigating school, you're navigating new relationships, you're navigating new professors and new classes. And if I could go back and look at the world with more gratitude, I feel like that's just time well spent. So take what I just said and, whatever it means to you now. And I think it's going to continue like Austin's gratitude when we first met, right? It's going to continue to change, right? It's going to continue to change. Yeah, mine is a little bit different, right? And it may be, a lot of people will go, damn, Carlos, you need to fucking chill out a little bit, but I won't, and I refuse, because these are deep, deep truths, right? And I think a lot of the times we want to ignore them. We want to ignore that, this train is going to end. This ride will come to an end, right? And we all have different ways of approaching it. But I think at the end of the day, it's nice to know that we can train gratitude in golf, gratitude in everything that we do, so that, in life, it spills out more, and our perspectives over what we're doing can change. Tell me what you guys think. Does that sound familiar to some of the things that we chatted about? And then I've got another question for you guys. Or is that just like,
that was a
damn?
lot. That was a lot. I'm not gonna lie.
No, now that I know how we're talking, that shit was deep.
Mhm.
So
We dove, yeah.
it was deep. I think that with that, I think that mentality, I think it's great. I think the only thing is like, I feel like if I had started to take that mentality onto golf, I would just live in a lot of fear, of like, and it would start to kind of like, I mean, well, I don't know. I think me personally, because just the way that I'm wired, um, I think that, I think that you should fear that one day that you're gonna like, there's gonna be a day that,
And I wouldn't say necessarily fear it. I
Yeah.
think that if you have a perspective of fear, that's yours. But I'm not afraid of it. What it does
okay,
to
so
me,
you're saying that yeah.
what
okay.
it does to me is it rearranges what is important, what's time wasted, and it
Okay.
refocuses me on what is truly and truly important. And now I get what you're saying, and I want to hear you finish what you're saying, but I had to jump in there just right off the bat, hearing that,
Yeah.
oh, it's kind of fear-based. I get you. I actually don't disagree with you. But I think that for me, there are certain truths that they may be a little bit scary, but from that, I'm going to sort of transmute that fear. And if I'm going to go into that place, it's going to be because it's going to serve me and rearrange the way I sort of conduct myself in life.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I just don't think that I like, for me personally, I just have I start thinking too deep and too extreme. Now I can get deep and extreme and stuff like that with some of the things that I do. But that's when some of the bolts just for me just start to fall off. Like I like to like I was talking about earlier, I think just finding, and this is probably what you're saying. I just probably interpreting this completely wrong. Um, but when I'm like coming into a round, let's say a round of golf, you know, and I am just grateful. Like you're saying that you're grateful for you're grateful for the day because one day you're gonna die. Like you're gonna die one day. You know, like you're grateful for all the time that you have. I agree with that. Let me explain this. What I'm trying to. This is like a crazy way.
This was a real deep thought process about this one.
Yeah, I've never thought of it this way, so I don't know. I don't know how
At
to
the
go
end of the
about this.
day, the only reason I use it is to make sure I'm not giving time to things that don't need time.
The bullshit.
Exactly. Time losing, we've all been there, and upset over stuff I don't need to be upset about. Upset at myself on the golf course. Upset because I didn't hit this score. Upset because I'm not getting better. Upset because I didn't win this tournament. Upset because I went OB 5 times and I can't believe I did that, or upset that I'm not hitting par. And I'm really just speaking to the things that at the end of the day just don't matter.
Yeah, see, like the thing is, I move on. I think this may be the basis you're going to. Like, yeah, sure, I'm gonna die one day, but I don't worry about wasted time because I know I mean, I do. Humanly, I do. I'm not saying that I'm perfect at all. In fact, I'm 100% imperfect. However, the I try not to worry about wasted time because when I do worry about wasted time, I just like I'm so focused on what I can't control and things that I am trying to learn in what's coming to me, rather than just saying, you know what, I can't change anything from that. Let's move on. Let's go have some fun. Do something else. Like that's my thought process on things. I don't worry about what happens to me. Like I don't worry about the things that I do wrong. You know, the imperfections that I have because I mess up. I'm 100%. I know that that's the one. If there's anything I do know, I know that I mess up. You know, and I it's forgiving yourself, and not only like forgiving yourself but moving forward from it and just continuing to walk into life with an open mind that, you know, things might not be going very well right now, but there's some things that are life's going to move forward. People are going to come into my life that are going to give me different perspectives. Carlos, you're one of those people. You came into my life and you gave me a different perspective. Dooley, you're one of those people. You've taught me lessons and you've given me different perspective. With the knowledge of people, like not only people, but things, objectives, problems, solutions, things are going to constantly happen. I don't worry about the imperfections and the wrong things that and the wastes of time and stuff like that I spend. No, I don't conscientiously say, you know what, I don't care about wasted time. I'm going to scroll on TikTok for 4 hours. But I think that the times that I waste time as far as like being angry and stuff like that, when you recognize it in the moment and just move forward from it rather than being angry at yourself for being angry, I think that's a cycle that can really build on itself and it can build more problems than solutions.
Sure.
So that was what I was that was what I was thinking when you were talking about all that. But yeah, this is something that I've really um encountered. I say like with my just I guess at school with crew and my faith and stuff like that, and just being present with God, and that's something that works with me. And so yeah,
Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, that's the goal for me too.
yeah.
Where
I think we just worded it differently.
Yeah. And I think that, the way you describe it perfectly, being present with God, that's the goal.
Mhm.
That's what gratitude gives me.
Yes.
That's where it realigns me and makes me make sure that I am on the right path.
Yeah.
That I am essentially walking with God and I'm not, I haven't missed the point.
Yeah.
And making sure that I maximize the gift of life that was given to me.
Yeah.
Right. So for me, like I said, and I think that I subscribe to the idea, and it's probably a little bit more philosophical, right? That there's lots of ways to get to 9. There's 3 times 3, there's 10 minus 1, and there's an infinite way to arrive at the same place, right?
Mhm.
And I think at the end of the day, we're essentially saying the same thing.
Yeah.
And I think that through the years, I found that because I'm human, I would miss the point of so many things, especially when it came to the way I conducted myself on the golf course. I was that classic example of someone that would just constantly lose their mind on the golf course, right? And get very, very upset. And that perspective change and using gratitude was what helped me get out of there so that I could stop seeing golf for just one thing about making me feel good about myself and the score.
Yeah.
Dooley?
I feel like this surrounds some of my life. I feel like around the golf sometimes there can be a little bit of animosity, and this has been a reoccurring word for the last 10 minutes, a lot of bullshit. There's one thing you learn from it, and people that you're close with, people that you know real good, will stick around and they'll do anything they can for you. Both of y'all have done that for me. I'm not too sure. Hopefully both my parents give this a listen. Thank y'all. But no, you learn a thing or two about yourself. Man, I just like the whole reason for this podcast is, is on the golf course and outside of that, you become more thankful for the small things and the small gains. And we coming back to, thinking about wasting time. I mean, I guess I haven't been speaking for the last 10, 15 minutes much. I've just been more listening.
Get it, Austin.
But, I think if there's one thing that I'm going to take, however, however we're all getting to 9. I don't know what that is. Got no clue. I couldn't throw out 2 numbers for you that are going to tell you which way I get there. But you said it in a great way, and I love the way you said it because it's 2 different ways of saying one thing. But I think however this adventure goes, however long it lasts, if there's one thing I want to be grateful for is just, I did what I did and I had fun. That's how I want to ride this rodeo. Like that's how this is gonna go down at the end of the day. And
Mhm.
however that is, I'm thankful for whatever.
Yeah, I love that. Absolutely. I just think that no matter what, I think gratitude is always our North Star. And I think that, I think so long as we use it to come back to truth, to come back to what feels good, what truly serves us and keeps us from missing the point in life, I think it'll always be a good tool. I love Hudson's perspective. Hudson's always been a fantastic, deep mind. I would say wise beyond his years. Since the moment I've heard him speak, it's always been like, "Am I talking to a teenager? My God!" He's always been able to absorb and question and I love that. Where Hudson comes from. I love where you come from, Austin. It's you guys have been, um, dare I say, two students that have played a huge part in my life, and I've always been grateful that you two showed up in my life. And at the end of the day, golf brought us here, and I just think that I find such a just an incredible amount of gratitude for golf because of the people that it brings into my life, right? And you don't kind of hit the age that I'm at and think a lot of the times that you're going to find individuals that are so much younger that are going to have such a deep impact on you. So I think it's always like, oh well, it's going to be the other way around, right? I'm going to have the impact that on you guys. No, 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 no. I'm not going to have that egoic thought that you guys can't teach me things. You guys have taught me so much, and I wish that I had the thinking that you guys have at your age, because you're so ahead of me at your age when I was your age. And I'm very excited to see where your journeys go. When Hudson called the other day, I cannot begin to tell you how much it lights me up. When Austin calls me, you can ask Lori. You guys, anytime you guys call, I light up. I am just always very excited to hear from you guys. And because you're just such wonderful human beings, I cannot wait to see where your life journey takes you. I cannot wait to see where you guys end up. Austin, I can't wait to see where golf takes you. Hudson, I can't wait to see where film and cinematography take you. It's such a freaking beautiful field. And like you were saying about Austin, I've never seen anybody, I've never met anybody that can score the way you do. I know you've had your ups and downs where it's like, oh, I had like 10 birdies in this round, and I had, there's only 18 holes, but I had like 36 double bogeys to go along with those 10 those 10 birdies.
Yeah.
So I cannot wait. I think that you're right where you're supposed to be when it comes to golf. I think that you're right on track. And it's going to be a matter of time before all of that stuff falls off and all that's left is your ability to score. And I can't wait to be there for that moment, And I'm not surprised Hudson's telling me that golf is back, because I left the game for 10 years and all I have is my own perspective that I can project outward. And I remember telling Lori, like, golf is not done with Hudson. I'm telling you right now, it's going to piss you off and it's going to throw you into a loop, but I'm so glad that you're back. We're an hour and 35 minutes into this pod. I know you guys got things to do, but I wanted just to tell you guys, at the end of the day, how grateful I am for you guys. And if we can leave with one thought before we go. I know we talked about gratitude a lot, and we talked a little bit about, the techniques that we learned while you guys were working with us. And I hope to continue working with you guys as we move forward. What do you have to say to someone who's listening to this podcast right now and thinks that gratitude is super corny?
Well, I think it's just a different. Like I actually kind of get that. Like people saying that.
That's why I'm asking, because
No,
I completely understand that.
No, like I totally understand the thought process on that. Because I at one point was like, I don't need, like, this is just too much. Like, this is just weird. This is awkward.
This is lame.
This is, yeah. But I think that the big thing with it is understanding, like, I think from a guy's perspective, it's definitely different. Because I think guys are supposed to, like, just, they have this thought process of like, hey, I just need I got to do my job. I have to go home and I have to supply. I need to supply for people. But like the process of being grateful for why you do that, I think that no, like having some thought process on that, or like and just some uh I guess love for what you do and why. I mean, otherwise, why are you doing it? Like it's not something to get corny about. It's not something to get cringed out about. It's a regular day thing. Why are you doing what you're doing? And are you grateful for it? You know,
Do you
and
think it makes you better at what you do?
yeah, yeah, 100%. Gratitude's always going to make you better. It's never going to be something that's positive is never going to do anything negative. Like, I mean, that's just common. I feel like, yeah, I
Well
think
said.
I think, yeah,
Yeah.
it's simple. I think just the best thing is just keep things simple.
Austin?
Maybe don't think that the world hates you, because it don't, because it
Facts.
doesn't.
Yeah.
I think maybe I've said it once or twice, but it really doesn't. Just if you think gratitude is something corny, and just be thankful for one thing. It could be the smallest thing in the world, but I think it'll open your eyes to all the super small things that are around you, and then all of a sudden you become thankful for a lot, and it's almost like a domino effect where it adds up. I mean, just from a golfer's perspective, I've been thankful enough to be able to do a lot. I live a good life, especially out where we live. Spent an awesome first 19 years, living under the house with my parents. But now it's time to start a different road. I'm leaving here in a week and a half and start a new adventure. I can't wait for it. Do I know what it's going to bring? No. But if there's one thing I'm certain upon, whatever it is, I can't wait for it. I don't want it to come too quick, but I'm excited for it to start. And I think there's a lot of things I can take from the last few years that, I'm going to take with me, and it's going to stick with me, and I'm going to apply it to, next 4 years and beyond that.
Hudson, one tip giving to Austin now that you've been in school for a year?
Good. I would say find a group outside of golf to get involved with. It can be whatever. I just think that finding a group of people that you can trust, people that you can talk to, people that you can just really enjoy, and just like, the same way that I use golf as a getaway from things, have people to be a getaway from things and stuff like that in school, and like have several different things that you can like kind of venture out in, and it makes you dynamic and makes you versatile. Like on the people, when the more people you meet, the better. Like you'll watch how people change you, and like how many people can change you. So, yeah, I think that's the biggest deal is meet as many people as possible, meet good people that you can trust, and yeah, and just love every second of it. It's gonna be the best parts of your life. Yeah. We are Penn State. Altoona.
It's been my best friend for the last 6 years, and I couldn't be more thankful for someone else.
Yes, sir.
Who's going to be doing great things down in Oxford, and going up to Pennsylvania. Like I said, I can't wait for what I'm going to be doing. But this day and age, what everyone's doing. I can't wait to see what you're doing.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see what you're doing, and we'll come back better than ever.
Yes, sir, bro.
Well, guys, parting thoughts. Just thank you both so much for joining me, for giving me your time. I understand your time is precious. I understand that you're in your summer moments here in between school, and I know that every moment counts. So I cannot thank you both enough for joining me today and coming out here and taking time out of your day, your busy days. So thank you so very much. Any other parting thoughts that you guys want to give before we go?
I think I'm all good.
Well, thank you for having both of us
Yeah,
on. I mean, this has been something I want to do for a long time, and I had a lot of fun doing this. So.
Yeah. And I hope to catch up with you guys again the next time that you're back. If we can kind of make it a reoccurring thing, that would be great, just to kind of check in, see how things are moving along. Austin, obviously, you've got a golf journey ahead of you. We're going to be watching and supporting you the entire way. So can't wait to see how your career shapes up. And but thank you to everyone that joined in, and we will catch you all on the next episode. Thanks for going deep with us.
Appreciate you, man. Yep.